Greetings, and welcome to the channel. Welcome. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you wherever you are. Greetings to you. Happy Friday. Wherever you are on the planet today, welcome to the live. Today we're going to be talking about how narcissistic abuse reveals that the empath was once their own enemy. How narcissistic abuse reveals that the empath was once their own enemy. Welcome in. Happy Friday. Today we're going to be revealing how the empath was once their own enemy. This is what we're going to be talking about today. So come on in and get comfortable because we're going to go very deep. We're exploring how the empath was once their own enemy, which is why they were stuck in narcissistic abuse. So if you're an empath who's experienced narcissistic abuse, has overcome it, this is the kind of topic that will open your mind to the truth of what you experience. So come on in. Happy Friday wherever you are. If you're on the Gregorian calendar, right? I know some places don't use the Gregorian calendar, so I just want to acknowledge that. But happy Friday wherever you are. And today we're going to be talking about how narcissistic abuse reveals that the empath, were once your own enemy, right? This is what we're going to be focused on today. Oh, you're not alone, DJ Jasbo. We're in this together. Honey Buns, how you doing? Welcome. Greetings. Tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody. Hi, Lily. Welcome. Greetings to you all. Today we're going to be talking about how narcissistic abuse reveals the empath was once their own enemy. Yes, Reese, we're going to talk about that today on who the chosen ones are. The chosen one is simply someone who chooses themselves and chooses to do the right thing in the hell realm, where the commonplace is to do the right thing, but pretend to do the right thing, in simple terms. But today we're going to be talking about how narcissistic abuse reveals that the empath was once their own enemy. We're going to get started in about a minute or so, just waiting for a few more people to gather around and we can begin. And so if this topic is appealing to you, tell somebody, because we're going to reveal how strong you are, because narcissistic abuse reveals that the empath was once their own enemy. So it's very easy to hear stories about how narcissistic abuse makes the empath a victim, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today, but we're going to shift. No, not everybody thinks like you. If they did, it would be a peaceful world. We live in a world where that's not the case, and this is what we're going to explore today. So welcome. The topic today is the hidden war within. Yes, they are, Reese. Well said. Thank you. That's why people think you're stupid, right? It's because you're meek. And that's what the empath is, using the metaphor from the Bible as you pointed to. But let's get started. Today we're going to talk about how narcissistic abuse reveals that the empath was once their own enemy, right? How narcissistic abuse reveals that you were once your own enemy. So let's get into it. And for those who are just joining, my name is Dr. Nana Gyesie. I'm the shamanic coach and leadership guide here at Inner Minded Coaching, where we help folks understand the traumatic roots of your limiting self-beliefs and how to take inspired action to create your heaven right here. I know, Lily, but maybe they didn't know, right? Which is why we're going to dispel this. So we're here not to talk about comfort, but to talk about awakening. And it's important that I start by saying that the most devastating relationship of your life, the one that broke you, the one that stole from you, confused you, gaslit you, was actually a sacred initiation. What if I told you that the narcissist didn't betray you? You did, Cassie. You see, the narcissist didn't betray you, you did. And long before the narcissist ever arrived, you are the betrayer in your life, but it was so you could go through the sacred initiation. So let's go all the way in, starting with the psychology of self-betrayal. And I know there's some comments coming in, but once I go through this in about 10 minutes, I'll start taking questions and responding to your comments. So most empaths carry an identity rooted in one word, the desire to be a helper. You see? And we mistake our capacity to feel for our obligation to fix as the helper. We confuse our intuition with divine assignment. But under exactly, Cassie, under that helping persona is a lie. A lie. We do Global Sisters Connection, we do. And the lie, a deep subconscious belief that we tell ourselves is that we are not worthy until we are being used. Exactly, Lily. We are not worthy, or you are not worthy as an empath until you're being used. And by the way, this isn't accidental. It is developmental. So let me go through it. According to attachment theory, children raised with emotional neglect, abuse, and inconsistent love learn to fuse safety with self-sacrifice. Let me say that again. Under the helper persona, and according to attachment theory, right, Lily? Children raised with emotional neglect and abuse or inconsistent love learn to fuse safety with self-sacrifice. And then when you go to inner child, thank you for that. Oh, you're 50-50 custody. I get it. So you're doing separate parents, and I'm live. But we'll take your question soon. From an inner child perspective, research shows that sensitive children become the good child or the invisible child, mainly to avoid rejection, punishment, or humiliation. Honey buns. And when you look at therapeutic modalities like internal family systems, this is what's called the burden part. In other words, the inner exiles carrying shame, guilt, or self-loathing who become hijacked by protective managers through people pleasing, codependency, or overfunctioning. We live in a domain that is run by the spirit of Jezebel, Reese, and we'll take your question soon, right, in about 10 minutes. So this is where your internal enemy is born. The internal enemy is born in the burdened and fractured sides of you. This is where the empath fractures, because you become your own oppressor long before the narcissist arrived. You ignored your voice, you bypassed your anger, and you told your inner child to shut up and stay quiet so someone else could stay comfortable. Can you believe that? I did that. And the narcissists didn't invent your suppression. They didn't. They simply, as predators, embodied it. And they became the actor in the play you've been writing with your own self-abandonment. Hey, Ellie, how you doing? Hi, Narc Survivor, how you doing? You see? Welcome. So you became your own oppressor before the narcissist arrived. So let's go into the vibrational truth about that. Exactly. Let's disconnect from the psychological and come to the energetic, because this is all energy, right? The law of resonance is simple. It says you attract what you embody. In other words, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are at the current moment. Let me say that again. The famous novelist Anais Nin would often say, we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. And if you're seeing yourself as broken and self-repressed, that's how you're going to see the world. So you attract what you embody. If you think you're broken, that's what you're going to attract. If you think you deserve to be punished, that's what you're going to attract. Exactly, Cassie. So empaths who attract narcissists aren't attracted narcissists because the empath is weak. We know we're not weak, although people who don't know us may think we're stupid before we heal. We attracted these narcissists because unconsciously we are vibrating with suppressed rage, abandonment wounds, and a core belief that love is earned through suffering. Somebody tell me if I'm making this up. Somebody tell me if this doesn't connect with you, Ellie, Retrogore. So you are the tune-in fork, right? And the narcissists are highly skilled predators who know how to listen for unresolved frequencies. Reach Ashmi. So even if we go deeper into neuroscience, from a neuroscientific perspective, thank you, Jill. Thank you, Blessed. Thank you, Teal. From a neuroscientific perspective, because neuroscience is the study of the brain, it says that Trauma primes the brain for pattern recognition. Exactly. Narcissistic transactions, Cassie. That's how we accept it. And you recreate relationships that feel familiar to your nervous system. Relationships that are not safe, honey buns. Aaliyah. That's why narcissistic dynamics often feel like home. Reese, thank you so much. You recreate these relationships because they're familiar. This is how you were conditioned. Now, when we bring in quantum physics, which I love because it explains everything, the observer effect, energy collapses the probability into reality-based coherent vibrational matches. So if your inner field is chaotic, guilt-ridden, or self-hating, you call vibrationally partners who reflect and amplify that chaos. In other words, if I was healed, I wouldn't have attracted narcissists into my life. The narcissists who came to be teachers too much. And from a somatic perspective, right, there's research that shows that trauma is frozen in survival energy. And unprocessed trauma seeks expression through repetition until it's felt, honored, and released. In fact, the same thing applies to how you release your trauma, Cassie. And thank you for joining too much. I'm so glad you're here. So what does a narcissist do? The narcissist, you know, is an MK Ultra in the general public. That's funny, but not funny. So what does a narcissist do? They poke at the wounds. This is when the gaslighting begins. Over and over and over and over and over and over and over until you say, enough! Enough! And that's the beginning of the exorcism. Not of them, but of your false self. Am I talking to somebody or am I just making this up? Someone tell me. Ellie, Retrogore, the narc makes you feel safe with the illusion, but it's actually dangerous. It's worse than dangerous because they're coming after you and everything you have. Thank you, Blessed. They wore you down. This is what they do. So let's go into the alchemy. The empath as the former enemy of self. You see, narcissistic abuse is not just psychological warfare, is it? Although it is. Your cortisol. Oh, you said cortisol. I'm so sorry, Global Sisters and Amanda. It is psychological alchemy, right? What it does is it converts the buried shadow into conscious fire. So what you, as Carl Jung said, what you don't bring to consciousness appears in your life as fate. Ekbalam Black Jaguar, I'm having a hard time accepting this. That's my ex-partner who's 16 years older than I, was intentional and calculated with this. This is what we're talking about, and you're in the right place. So empaths often wake up after the abuse with this horrifying realization. And tell me if you relate to this. And the realization is, drats. I let them treat me the way I used to treat myself. I let them treat me the way I used to treat myself. And that realization may destroy you. Maybe that's what is happening to you, Ekbalam Jaguar, Black Jaguar, right? And that realization is also the medicine that resurrects you, Moinara. So this is supported by academic insights, by Dr. Kristin Neff, who's done a lot of work on self-compassion, right? And basically what she says is that self-compassion shows that individuals with higher self-worth and self-kindness are significantly less likely to stay in emotionally abusive relationships, Aaliyah. You are gullible. You needed the awakening, Aaliyah. We all needed it. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't self-betraying at some point in my life. In Buddhism, the same is said in the Wheel of Samsara. It speaks of the cycle of suffering, which starts with suffering, delusion, and repetition until consciousness releases itself. You see? So what does this mean? When you say, I will not let anyone do this to me again. No. You're not just rejecting the narcissist. You are rejecting the inner, internal self-hater who invited them. When you say, no one will do this to me, you're also saying it to yourself. I will not reject and abandon myself again. You are rejecting the internal self-hater who invited the narcissist. You're closing the portal and realigning with your birthright. So what is the purpose of the narcissist in your life? Why are they the spiritual initiators? Now we're going to the hidden teaching here, the real kit and caboodle. You see, the knowledge that you got from experiencing narcissistic abuse wasn't meant for mass consumption until now. So when you made that point about MK Ultra, Reese Alchemy, this is what you were talking about. So you see, in Asian mystery schools, whether it was in ancient Egypt and Kemet, which I love, or to China, ancient China, or to the Kabbalah, there is one principle when it comes to awakening. And the principle is pain is the gate. Pain is the gate. Darkness is the teacher. And the enemy is the disguise key. Hi, Breezy Base. Let me say this again. Pain is the gate. Why did the narcissist come to your life? Because they brought pain to open the gate. Thank you so much. Then in the darkness, you learned, because darkness is the teacher. Hi, Moinara. And the enemy, the narcissist, exactement. The enemy is the disguise key. Let's go into details. In Hermetic alchemy, which I love because I practice Kemetic yoga, the first stage is something called Nigredo, which is the darkening or the death of the ego, which includes the death to illusions and false purity. The narcissist burns the empath's ego mask of I'm just loving and good. Did somebody hear what I just said? The narcissist burns the empath's ego mask of I'm just loving and good to expose the part of you that tolerates abuse. Snow? Snow? Do you see what I'm saying to you? Someone tell me I'm making sense. And in Tibetan Buddhism, wrathful deities are not demons. They are fierce compassion. They scare you to awaken you. So narcissist plays this function in the dream called life. The narcissist came to scare you into awakening. And the only way they could be resonant to you was you were self-hating at some point. Therefore, you were not punished. You were awakened. The narcissist, who were they? Something to live for. They were the smoke that revealed where your house was already on fire. We're going to get to questions soon because I want to hear from you. So let's get to the moment of truth. What is the reason why you're no longer aligned to self-hate as you begin to ascend? That is proof of your metamorphosis, like a caterpillar, your rebirth. Because when you as the empath walk away, not just physically, which is important, but most importantly, energetically, which means you cut cords, what happens is the air changes. The body begins to breathe. Oh, goodness. I remember when I first got rid of all the narcissists in my life, I slept for so long because I hadn't been sleeping. I was so exhausted, right? The body breathes again. The nervous system starts to fire clean signals. And something profound happens. You stop attracting narcissists. Why? Because you are no longer a frequency match. Because your internal field no longer tolerates inner violence. SNY. Let me say that again. You stop attracting narcissists as you ascend because you are no longer a frequency match for the narcissist. You see, Moinara? So what I'm saying is when you stop bypassing and having clean boundaries, you are awakening. When you no longer feel guilty, Jill, for choosing yourself, you are ascending. When you no longer abandon your body to suit someone else's ego, you are ascending. And most critically, it means you no longer hate yourself. I'm here to tell you the truth. We're not victims. We are the creators. So when you get to this point is when you activate the divine in your life. The divine steps in. And you start to see synchronicities. Your spiritual gifts start to manifest. What do you mean by this question? I don't understand what's behind it. And sacred connections start to replace karmic ones. And you realize you're not just healed, you've crossed over to a place of becoming the divine itself in this avatar. And who were you before the abuse? You know who you were before the abuse. And who are you now that you've seen the truth? Because the false self has been revealed and you've passed the test. You survived the spell of the hell realm and have returned to your sacred self. And so you are saying this words to yourself, and I'm saying it now, and you can say it with me wherever you want. Wherever you are, I mean. I am no longer my enemy. I am no longer my enemy. Yes, you become a spiritual warrior and a spiritual gangster, Reese. I am no longer my enemy. I am no longer a match for pain. I remember who I am and I will never forget. This is how you wake up to your divine purpose and you put these narcissistic resonance to bed once and for all. Right, Retrogore? What about if your narcissists are your parents? Same thing. Same thing. Whether your parents or your sisters or your best friend, whoever it is, this is what happens. So now we've gone through this exercise. I'm happy to take some questions. And you can invite yourself in on Instagram, on video, and on TikTok as well. And in YouTube, just type in your questions and I can respond to you. So if you want to ask a question via video, Nara, you can come in and ask the question or make a request for the question. Anybody who wants to come in, just come in and you can ask your question. Or I'll just select randomly a couple of people and see who wants to say something, right? Or ask a question so we can get into it. But you would not have undergone narcissistic abuse without self-hate. And you were self-hating because you were surrounded by scorpions who programmed you to be self-hating. Yes, Beast, thank you for your comment, but we're not here to address that. We are here to talk about how to overcome narcissistic abuse. So we're not here to deal with trolling. And if you think you're a troll, Beast, you can exit or I'll exit you out, okay? If you have a question, you can ask the question, but we're not putting up with this sort of nonsense, okay? So let's go into this. Why have I been put on the FBI watch list when I've done nothing wrong? How do you know you were put on the FBI watch list, Christine? Ask the question. Tell me more. How do you know that happened to you, right? What happened to you? Come on in. I'm healing and I've had to get rid of what doesn't serve me. This is amazing, Kimber. This is what happens because when you get rid of what doesn't serve you, then you've released the part of your brain that was rooted in fear and flight. Therefore, there's a possibility that you can think creatively about how you win back your life. This is how you do it, right? And maybe I invite you in to ask your question, right? But this is how it works. There's no way you're going to overcome the world until you overcome yourself. You cannot overcome the world until you overcome yourself. It's as simple as that, right? Once you overcome yourself, you have overcome the world. And the journey to overcoming the world is really where the challenge is. Retrograde, let's see your question. Do you feel defining metaphysical concepts like love, justice, and happiness for ourselves takes the power away from the narcissist to define us? The narcissist never had any power over us, Retrograde. The power they had over us was based on our conditioning. So when you start to embrace self-love, that is a frequency that the narcissist cannot relate to. Because the narcissist lives in a place of permanent hell. Translation, self-hate. That's why you feel the way you do when you deal with a narcissist. So the moment you orient towards love, it's game over. It's game over. Right? Kimber, what do you mean? What happened to you? This is the whole game. You overcome it once and for all, and it's no longer an issue, right? So it's all in your hands to realize that you're a powerful being as compared to the way you were previously conditioned. DJ Jasper, how did you get through reprogramming yourself? It's hard to kick mental habits overnight or a few months. Yes, I came to it because the pain in my personal experience of narcissistic abuse became so inscrutable. There was nowhere else to turn. I was so broken down that there was nowhere. I remember lying on a yoga mat, looking at the ceiling and crying like a baby with phlegm everywhere. And I realized that I had nowhere else to look but inside. And that's where the real journey within begun. And it started with deep meditation, something I practice every day, right? So that hopefully that answers your question. EK Balam Black Jaguar, how can we move into seeing this cosmic as a blessing instead of a loss? Well, it's just very easy. Do you want to remain with a demon, or do you want to free yourself from hell and transition into your heaven on earth? That's how you know, right? And then Moyanara, Christianity makes you acknowledge the body, spirit, divine connection better than others because Christ. Well, I don't know if that's true because I'm Buddhist and Buddha Dharma is all about self-compassion. So, of course, there are religious expressions of love which are rooted in cultural expressions, but there's a truth that doesn't need a cultural expression, and that truth is rooted in self-love. Because when you love yourself, you can't hate another person. When you decide not to harm yourself, you cannot harm another person. This is really what the game is about. You see, any religious belief is higher consciousness. Yes, and then when you get past higher consciousness beyond religion, you get to real spirituality, you're dealing with capital T truth. And capital T truth cuts across culture, expressions, and so forth. So the purpose of this is to wake up to truth. And when you come to truth, you may meet somebody from the Kalahari Desert who doesn't speak your language, but they understand the same truth as you do, because truth is objective. Truth is not subjective, right? And so you may have your subjective perspective, but you cannot deal with this if you are still in low vibrations and conditions. Do you see what I'm trying to say? They hate our light. Of course they do hate our light. They do hate our light. Why wouldn't they hate the light? Because this is why they attacked you. And they made you believe that you were not good enough because you believe you were not good enough. No worries. You believe you were not good enough. And because you believe you were not good enough, that's why this happened. You see what I'm saying? This is why this happened. So once you cross that thread of I'm not good enough, the narcissist cannot reach you. You are way out of reach. So you realize that the task here is to begin to find the love within. Or as John Coltrane said, the love supreme. How do you know when to walk away and stand up for yourself? You see, when you're in a relationship that's supposed to be loving, but you don't feel love, that's how you know. And when you love yourself and you're in a relationship that's not loving, you immediately know. And so do you want to be in a relationship where you're treated worse than you treat yourself? No. If you treat yourself well, you're not going to tolerate someone who doesn't treat you well. And that's how you know, right? Because the only way they would continue to treat you badly is because you don't see yourself in the right light. This is what happens. Will they continue the pattern with a new supplier? Do they give them everything they ask for? Of course, the narcissist cannot change. Unless there's a divine intervention, the narcissist remains themselves. And it's not your business to be interested in what they do and why they do it and so forth. Your only job, the best way to defeat the narcissist is to find self-love. Let me just say it once and for all. If you want to know the best way to defeat a narcissist, love yourself. Because if you love yourself, they can't reach you. And when you love yourself, you start doing better than you were doing with the narcissist. That destroys the narcissist. Do you know why that destroys the narcissist? Can anyone tell me? It destroys the narcissist because the narcissist came to destroy you. So when they see you doing better alone than you did with them, that's the ultimate karma for the narcissist. So your job is not to worry about know thyself. Exactly. Your job is not to worry about the narcissist or what they say or what they do. Your primary job is to walk away and get better. That's it. And to release yourself from the hell realm, the spell of the hell realm, because you've paid your dues. And I know a lot of us have been in this hell realm for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. How long do you want to be under life imprisonment of narcissistic abuse? At some point, you have to know that the key that frees you from narcissistic abuse is to go from fragmentation to wholeness. Exactly, Nana say. From fragmentation to wholeness. Now, I say this recognizing that escaping from narcissistic abuse is not easy. They wanted to swap destiny. It's not easy. And the reason why you've been able to do it is because you finally came to the place of self-recognition and self-love. They don't want to see you happy. Exactly, Global Sisters. They don't. So when you do this, you're free, right? And if you have questions and you want to come in, just invite yourself or come in and maybe we get a voice or two in here. So when you're in self-love, the way the narcissist will try to get you is to trigger you into arguments, baseless conversations to extract energy. And it's important to realize when you read all the psychological journals, they tell you no contact, yellow rock, gray rock. For me, when you leave a narcissist, you cut the cords, you wish them well. Because it becomes impossible for you to hate the narcissist because you don't hate yourself. You can only hate another person if you hate yourself. And when you've come through this place of fragmentation to wholeness, it is your love that frees you. It's the love you have for and even the compassion you have for the narcissist, because you know the narcissist is a narcissist because they are very sad and broken. Do you see the empathy there? You know the narcissist, as grandiose as they are, or as covert as they are, is a narcissist because they are very sad. The narcissist is not a narcissist because they are strong. The narcissist is a narcissist because they are very sad. They are afflicted. You know, of course I have. I've been through everything, sleep paralysis, you name it. I've been attacked in every way. Yes, they are very broken. And the reason they're broken is because they see your strength and don't want you to see it, which is why they want you to join them on the broken avenue. The broken avenue is also called hell on earth. So when you decide that's not for you, they will trigger your amygdala, the fear center retrograde, and they want you to suppress, because when you're suppressed, your throat chakra is blocked and you're not speaking. And when you're not expressing, it's the best thing for the narcissist. You see, one of the first things you do when you come out of narcissistic abuse is you have to go run, tell that, as Martin Lawrence would say. You have to talk about it to release it and purge it and understand it. And the thing the narcissist fears the most is to be exposed. So part of your job is to expose the narcissist after you've escaped. You see, after you've escaped, that is all part of your healing process, exposing the narcissist, calling them out, and like I'm doing now. And then that eventually transitions you to a place of wholeness. When you're in a place of wholeness, all you radiate is love because you found self-love within you. And it may not be because everything is going well for you, because you realize that self-love and joy is rooted in nothing but self-appreciation. So when you're in a place of self-appreciation, you become the ultimate spiritual gangster. And you've got your crown on your head, you know? And when you've got your crown on your head, you move like my brethren's samurai eye is moving. You see? This is what happens. You could develop bipolar disorder, although it's also chemical, right? But you see, what the narcissist does is they afflict you so much that you get into a place of self-hatred, which creates disease in you. And when you create diseasiness in you, guess what happens? You create sicknesses. Because the National Institute of Health has a study that shows that most diseases have emotional roots. So even if the narcissist is not killing you physically, they are killing you by putting you in a place where you're developing so much cortisol. And what is cortisol? Cortisol is the stress hormone. So imagine if you're always under stress and always producing cortisol, you're going to get sick. A lot of people getting sick who don't have to be sick because you're with this vampires, you see? This is what happens. So ultimately, we at some point, it's not about being obsessed with a narcissist. It's about getting to a point of realizing that there are no enemies. The only reason why the narcissist appeared as an enemy in your life was because you are an enemy to yourself. And you may have been an enemy to yourself unconsciously because you were programmed to be that way. Because those who program you realize that if you were a friend to yourself early, you would become unstoppable. So you had to go on this extended journey of pain so you develop inner compassion and be free from the hell realm. And when you're free from the hell realm, you ascend within you. And as you ascend within you, you literally also ascend. Because as within, so without. Or as the Hermeticists will say, it's suckables. That's exactly S and Y. As above, so below. As above, so below. You see, it's simple. This is simple math and sacred geometry. So this is what happens. Kimba, I'm so glad it makes sense to you. You see, you're dealing with some powerful demonic energy and you need to free yourself from it. And you free yourself from it by, no longer being resonant to hate. It is hate that makes you resonant to these narcissists. And the kind of hate I'm talking about has no difference from self-doubt, low self-esteem, self-loathing, self-betrayal. These are all forms of hate. That's it, Teal. It's an awakening, Zazie. So when you wake up from hating yourself, you are no longer resonant to the narcissist. And when you're no longer resonant to receiving the electromagnetic frequency of hate, you're free. This is the whole point of love. Okay, Sean, this is for you. As above, so below. How was that, Sean? Did that work for you? You see, it's all hidden in plain sight. All the magic is encoded in your DNA. Let me give you an example. You know, the Bible talks about the metaphorical 144,000 chosen people. Somebody asked that question. Now, it's impossible that there are only 144,000 people who are chosen to be divine. But you think about it from a DNA perspective, we have 144,000 strands of junk DNA. And you also know that trauma is passed on epigenetically through your DNA. So when you free yourself, it's also a DNA freedom connecting to the 144,000 strands of junk DNA in you, which makes you chosen in the same way the Bible talked about 144,000. 144,000 is present. I am Buddhist, Gianna. The 144,000 is connected to other esoteric traditions. It's a code. Are you Christian, Gianna? It doesn't matter. This is the whole game. It's divine intelligence. Because the divine intelligence is already encoded within you, SRB. It's already encoded in you. So when you wake up to that, you start to become a magician. You become a magician, an alchemist. Not just this regular, I'm just a human being, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a person, I'm a trans woman, I'm a trans man, I'm gender non-binary. All of that become irrelevant because you're talking about the avatar. What we're talking about is the energetic signature that happens within you. That's activated in your 144,000 junk DNA that transitions you from fragmentation to wholeness so that the divine living stone becomes awakened within you. The divine living stone is within you. This is how you program yourself. You are here to have dominion over everything. This is why the narcissists are able to cast spells with their words. Negatively, in the same way you can cast positive spells with your words. I am enough. I am abundant. I am an overcomer. Because the moment you use the words I am, you're casting spells. So anything you say I am with, thank you so much, Kimber. When you say I am, you are speaking spells. You are manifesting things. Because you have to know that everything around me was once a word, which was once a thought. This building was once a thought. You were once a thought. These glasses were once a thought, right? This life was once a thought. Everything is a thought. And I'm proving to you that thoughts become solid because thoughts are solid. And remember, whatever you think about and focus on, you shift, observer effect. This is not magic. This is science. This is science. And who wants you to know that you are the magician? The people who've tapped into this are either supremely spiritual or supremely successful. There's no difference between Elon Musk and the Dalai Lama. The primary difference is that the Dalai Lama is a spiritual being, whereas Elon Musk believes he's the creator, can do anything. It's how you program thyself. That's all it is. You hate the ignorant, and at the same time you hate them. No, you don't. You can't hate anybody. When you are a chosen person or an empath, hate is not part of the equation, Freya. Zazie, I don't know about hate. I don't deal with hate. I don't know about that vibration. Come on. We're not trying to go to these lower frequencies. Let's not talk about hate. We talk about love here and free yourself from hate. What is this hate business? I don't know what that is. Come on. We need to have good character to discern good character. We need to be the thing in order to know the thing when we see it. You said it. Chandra, thank you so much. This is all about the love vibration. Love is the ultimate weapon. You hate the ignorant, at the same time you feel sorry. Why do you hate the ignorant? If you hate the ignorant, you're just like them. You hate the ignorant because they hate you and you hate them. You're just like them. What are you doing? I mean, do you want to remain in hell or do you want to ascend, Zazie? What are you doing, my brother, my sister, whoever you are? I'm sorry to talk to you like this, but I just have to tell you the truth. I don't have no time for lying. How do you negotiate? You negotiate what? You don't negotiate anything. You stand in your power, Judith. You stay on your throne. You stay on the throne of self-respect. So nobody can pull you off the throne of self-respect. So you don't negotiate self-respect. You don't negotiate love. Love needs no negotiation. Any kind of love you have to qualify for ain't love. If you have to negotiate for anything, it isn't it. Because you already are. Now, I know in the real world you have to negotiate on finances and things like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about negotiating your value. What's the negotiation on your value? The reason why you attracted a narcissist is because you negotiated your value. Now that you're awakened, there's no more negotiation of that. This is my daughter's favorite song. My daughter's other favorite song. It's called Continent. I'm so proud she loves this because I'm originally from the continent. And she sings this. She's 4.5 years old. I'm feeling she's here with me. I can feel it. Freya, do you feel some are not ready for this particular messages yet? I'm not for everybody, Freya. I'm for who I'm for. So whoever connects with this, I'm for you. And whoever doesn't connect for this, I'm not for you. We all have our assignments, right? I'm for who I'm for, and I'm not for who I'm not for. And I'm not worried about who I'm not for. You see what I'm saying, Freya? Who is ready? You say, thank you, Freya. This is the business. We're not in the business of seeking external validation. Because when you're self-loving, who validates you the most? Yourself. You don't need anyone to validate you. You are the ultimate validator. Now, I know this is very difficult, and I have compassion for the process of escaping from narcissistic abuse because it is the hardest thing. Oh, escaping from narcissistic abuse is the hardest thing. It really is. It's actually impossible for the average person to escape from narcissistic abuse. So what does it say about you who's escaped from narcissistic abuse? Somebody tell me. Thank you, Zazie. I love you, Zazie. You're still here. You're amazing. You are amazing, Zazie. Zazie 2 Piss 1. Hopefully I'm saying it correctly. You see, this is what happens. And when you escape, initially you're going to be confused, you're going to be lost, but you come to the point of alignment and oneness and wholeness, and you start to feel like this song from Steel Pulse. I love the song. This is called Chant a Psalm by Steel Pulse. Took you 10 years? You are a real gangster. Chant a psalm a day. Translation, rejoice every day. Rejoice. Rejoice every day. Because life is for the living. When you have this gift of life, anything can change at any moment for the good. So when you're in a place of rejoicing, you are calling in your good. Rejoice, rejoice. Good tidings I bring you. Hear ye. A message to you, my brethren. Voices cry. Angels, when pressure drop, it cannot conquer dread, no. So blow away your blues and feeling. Spirit, oh. Whoso in tears shall reap in joy. Wise man's doctrine. Look at the words for Chant a Psalm a Day by Steel Pulse. He or she who sows in tears shall reap in joy. That's a divine principle. Steel Pulse just said that. Disciples of Lucifer. In your hands lies the destination. The book of true life, you hold the key. Listen to this. Mystical powers to you unfold. This is what happens. Mystical powers to you unfold when you embrace the love within. Because that is what qualifies you to be a healer, to be an alchemist, to be a magician of good. This is what happens. And the qualifier is you have to be in a place of self-love. Having passed the test that you are not going to be narcissistic with your powers. Whether it's clairvoyance, whether it's being a medium, whether it's clairsentience, whether it's being psychic, whether it's being a light worker, a Reiki healer, whatever it is. This is what it's about. If you're confused, you're probably experiencing a D story. This is what's happening to you. Let's get one person in the video here. Who's this? Carmen Boras. All right, Carmen. What's on your mind, Carmen? Let's listen to Carmen. Let's hear Carmen out. So this is the whole kit and caboodle. You see, when you start to heal, you start to get closer to the divine in you. And that's how you know you are escaping from hell to heaven, right here on this terra firma. One love, Teal. I love that you said that. So this is not about revenge of the narcissist or helping the narcissist. This is waking up to your true powers. You see me? This is about waking up to the truth of who you are. And until you wake up to the truth of who you are, you're always going to be living a lie. And when you're living a lie, you are subject to manipulation and the ways of the world. Right? Do you have to go through extreme suffering and pain to be an alchemist? You see, this Jessica asked an incredible question. It can happen two ways. For some, it happens spontaneously because they're seeking and seeking and seeking. That happens, and that could be the result of previous karma, right? Positive karma. Conversely, for most of us, it happens as a result of going through the dark night of the soul. That's what happens. And when you go through the dark night of the soul, is how you come to the heaven within you. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is the message for today, brethren and sisters and people them. This is the message. This is Jam message. You see? This is the message. So wherever you are on the planet today, on this day, if you hate them, you are just like them. If you hate them, I understand it, but that puts you in the same frequency Aquarius as them. When you're having a name like Aquarius and Aquarius age, what are you talking about hate for, Aquarius? I don't understand this. You see what I'm saying? I know I'm giving you a hard time, but I just have to tell the truth. So people, them, one love always. And remember, there's no one like you. So no matter what you do, I just want you to remember this. I want you to remember this, that find a reason to celebrate today. Find a reason to... Woo! You see me? Woo! No. Celebrate. Celebrate. Move your body. Move. Live in your house. I want to live in your house. I want to live in your house. And the house is the heart. I want to live in your... There's one question. Okay, I'll take one question before we go. We'll take one question. Woo! Hey, angels, how are you? Tell us, what's on your mind?
In line with what you're saying, my mother always taught me that you have to love people. And the people that are unlovable, you have to look much harder to love.
Mm-hmm.
And that I found in my own life, the people I used to hate, the more I knew about them, the more I discovered the truth about them. I couldn't hate them anymore.
Do you see my face?
Yes.
You know what? This is for you. Watch me.
That's beautiful.
That's it. That you just that's the message for today. And spoken from a being who has found their own enlightenment. That's you.
Thank you. But I went through adversity. I'm terminally ill.
You know, just go ahead. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
That gift has given me so much beauty, compassion, revelation, that I don't even hold any anger about being sick anymore. It's a gift.
You know what you found? You know what you found within yourself?
No.
You found deep healing. And when you found heart-based deep healing, guess what begins to happen? I'm not a medical professional, but I'm going to speak energy. Guess what begins to happen to your body too?
It probably answers in healing.
Can you say that again, please?
It probably answers in healing.
Oh, you see what you've done?
But you know, I think it's so beautiful. I don't even care anymore. I don't have to heal. I've already been healed.
You know, that's a masterclass in detachment rooted in trust.
Exactly.
Because when you trust, you're not attached. Because you know everything is working out for my what? My good.
And it's like free falling with God.
And trusting that gravity and a parachute will show up when it's needed. Isn't that what it is? That's what it is. Rumi said it best. Rumi said, you don't need to know the way, but as you begin to walk, the way shows up. That's Rumi.
Exactly.
You know, Angel, I just want to say this to you because we're at the end of this session today. You came in at the right time. That you are an awakened being, and I'm sending you much love and tailwinds in your ascent and a lot of healing love of frequency. And may you be a vessel and portal to healing for all those within your vicinity who are assigned to you.
That is my
So it is. Say it with me, please, with your permission. So it is.
So it is.
So it is.
Amen.
Amen. I'm sending you peace and love, yes?
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on. Yeah.
I love you.
Thank you. We love you too. Peace and love. Yes. So this is the message, folks. The message is love. We'll be back here same time Monday, really talking about how you become more of an alchemist and how your abuse is the portal to your awakening at a time when most of the world is going to sleep. You see? So remember this. One love, one destiny. Keep shining your light. And I'm so grateful for you, and we'll see you on Monday. Yes? One love, one love, one love, one love. Yeah, man.